Hello, history fans. Today we have an extraordinary challenge. 50 questions without options, designed to truly put your knowledge to the test. Don't worry if you miss any. Every mistake is an opportunity to learn something new. Are you ready? Let's begin. Who was the first Roman emperor? Augustus. What epidemic devastated 14th century Europe? The Black Death. What invention started the Industrial Revolution? The steam engine. What was the name of the most famous legal code of Babylon? The Code of Hammurabi. What was the first country to abolish slavery? Haiti. In what year did Christopher Columbus first arrive in America? In 1492. Who discovered penicillin? Alexander Fleming. What was the name of the battle in which Napoleon Bonaparte suffered his final major defeat? The Battle of Waterloo. What event led the United States to enter the Second World War? The attack on Pearl Harbor. Which country had the most military and civilian casualties in Second World War? The Soviet Union, with about 30 million casualties. Which empire was ruled by Genghis Khan? The Mongol Empire. Which civilization built Machu Picchu? The Incas. Who painted the Sistine Chapel? Michelangelo. Who was the first president of the United States? George Washington. Which country is known as the birthplace of democracy? Greece. Which South African leader fought against apartheid? Nelson Mandela. Which Greek philosopher was the teacher of Alexander the Great? Aristotle. Which historical period was characterized by castles, knights, and feudal lords? The Middle Ages. Which treaty divided newly discovered lands between Spain and Portugal in 1494? The Treaty of Tordesillas. Which ship carried Charles Darwin on his famous voyage around the world? Her Majesty's ship Beagle. Which war pitted Athens against Sparta? The Peloponnesian War. In what year did the attacks on the Twin Towers occur? In the year 2001. Who led the first expedition to reach the South Pole? Roald Amundsen. Which river was vital to ancient Egypt's prosperity? The Nile River. Which Carthaginian general crossed the Alps with elephants? Hannibal. Who was the last Tsar of Russia? Nicholas II. Who invented the telephone? Antonio Meucci? What did the Titanic crash into? Against an iceberg? Which Egyptian pharaoh tried to impose monotheism? Akhenaten. Which country was home to the legendary Library of Alexandria? In Egypt. Which city was destroyed by the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in the year 79 AD? Pompeii. Who led the independence of Venezuela? Simón Bolívar. Which city is known as the birthplace of the Renaissance? Florence. Which English document first limited the king's power in 1215? The Magna Carta. In what year did the Panama Canal open? In 1914. Which intellectual movement advocated for reason as the basis of knowledge in the 18th century? The Enlightenment. What was the name of the scientific project that developed the first atomic bombs? The Manhattan Project. What did Johannes Gutenberg invent? The modern printing press. Who was the first female pilot to fly solo, non-stop across the Atlantic Ocean? Amelia Earhart. Who was the first person to set foot on the moon? Neil Armstrong. What international group was formed after Second World War to keep peace? The United Nations Organization. Who formulated the laws that describe the movement of the planets around the sun? Johannes Kepler. Who created the law of universal gravitation? Isaac Newton. Who painted the Mona Lisa? Leonardo da Vinci. Who led the first circumnavigation of the planet, even though he died during the journey? Ferdinand Magellan. Which war concluded with the Treaty of Versailles? World War I. Which Roman emperor first converted to Christianity? Constantine the Great. Where was William Shakespeare born? In England. Between which years did the Spanish Civil War take place? Between 1936 and 1939. At what age did Joan of Arc die? At the age of 19. And now it's your bonus question moment. Do you recognize this historical figure? Comment his name and see if you can identify him. Did you want more? Click on any of the videos you see on the screen and keep learning with Dosis de Cultura.